Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're back here today with another challenge video. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, so let's get on with the crafts. Let's go! So here we go. I received my package from Aria over at DIY with Aria, and I did pre-open this so that I could make sure that everything did not show her address. And what a beautiful card, Aria. Thank you so much. This was so sweet of you. And here we are with all the tissue papers she gave me. Now there's this blue polka dotted one and this orange one, and I'm going to set those to the side because those are the ones we're going to use for our project. Now what we did next is we fanned through the rest of these pieces that I got from Aria, and she sent some of these water pellet beads. I've never used them before, never seen them in my Dollar Trees at all here in Florida. So yeah, and I've traveled to a lot of Dollar Trees to find things. And look at all these beautiful tissue papers. I thought that one was so neat because it had a design punched into it, and I haven't decided what to do with that one. I love that one, and I'm going to save that one for around Christmas time to do something with. And then I'm just folding all of these up so that I can use them later for other projects, because all these that I'm showing you here is what she sent, but it's not ones that I'm going to use in this DIY or this video. So let me get these all put away and look at all of those beautiful ones, and we're going to take these two and use them. So let's get to the craft desk and get started. Right, here we go with DIY number one. Okay, so here we are at the craft desk, and I'm going to take this orange tissue paper, cut it up into strips like this, and this is what we're going to use for our project. Now we're going to print on this tissue paper. I love to print on tissue paper. Now you guys, I apologize for ahead of time. I misread the video flyer, and I thought it was we were doing fall now. So I did these first three little projects in the orange, and I do apologize now for that. And there is one, this was supposed to be a summer one, and the other one kind of fits the summer DIY, but you guys, I totally misread the flyer. I apologize, but I didn't have time to remake this video. So what we're going to do is I found these little prints on Canva and printed them out. Now I'm going to put the orange piece, the piece paper with the orange tissue paper on it, in my printer. Now I use a laser printer to print these things out, and that's what I'm doing now. And here it is all printed out. I always print a test run first, then you're just going to cut these up into individual sections. Now I got these little fence pieces. Now these actually came from somebody's fence that went down during one of the storms here in Florida, which we have right regular. And what I am showing you is I am taking Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Now I painted on the side of the board that was already painted, and the reason why I did that is because if you paint on that raw side of the wood, it's going to soak up more paint. So I thought this brown would look good with the projects that I'm doing, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm using one of these chippy brushes, and this is an old chippy brush. I've had it for years, and I love to paint with those, and the older they get, the better they are, because they just work like you want them to, or at least for me. So I'm painting little white squares on them, and the reason why I'm doing that is because when I put my print on there, I want it to pop. Now this one, I am going to paint the whole board with the white, and the reason why I am painting this whole board, this is going to be for the second DIY that I do, and it's because you want your project to pop. So this is the only one I did like this. Now after all of these were dry, I set them to the side, let them dry. Now after all of them were dry, I took my paper, and the best way to do this is fold your paper in half, but don't crease it, because if you crease it, then you got to iron it to get the wrinkle out of it. So I'm just kind of going around the shape of this, and this one says little pumpkin on the way with a little truck, and so I'm just cutting it down to size to put on my little board where it fits in the white area. You don't want any of it to hang off the white area. Now I'll cut all of them down to the correct size. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you want to take, and see, mine's still a little big, and I'm going to cut it again, I think, or maybe I'm just going to put it down like that. I don't know. We'll see. I made the film for this quite a while back, and now I'm doing the editing, and sometimes I forget what I do, so I have to go look and see. Do any of y'all do that? So I'm going to put the Mod Podge on, let it dry, okay, on each one of these white squares. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is, since that Mod Podge is dry, and I did cut that back down some more, what I'm going to do is, and I needed to trim it up just a hair more because it wasn't quite fitting on there. Now, because tissue paper is so thin, when you print on it, your letters really need that white background to make them pop, especially on a colored tissue paper. So I'm going to place it down, and I am going to do the iron-on method for this. Now I'm going to lay a piece of parchment paper down. Now, I found that with this is the first time it ever happened to me, that if you rub this transfer with your iron like this, it's going to come off onto your parchment paper too. So you want to be careful so you don't smear it. So with this, you need to plate it. I guess it's because of the type of wood that I'm putting it on, but you need to put it on, press it, and then just lift up. Don't slide it all around because it wanted to kind of smear that word. Now, after I did that, the next thing I did is I put a little bit of hot glue on the back, and I'm going to take my twine. Now, this is twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times, and I want it kind of crisscross back and forth, and then I'll glue it again on the back. And then I'm going to use hot glue right now, but what you don't see that I go back and do, because this is going in our booth, is I am going to take and put some of that rapid fuse on the back of it, just so that it has some extra hold and that doesn't pop off. Now I'm making a little hanger for one of them, and we're going to put this on the back, and these make great little gifts for people to pick up and take home, like when they're on vacation, to take back to give to somebody, or if they want to take and give them to you can do them in Christmas or all kinds of stuff. Now I was seeing if that worked. It didn't. So I'm going to take some of this material that I had left over from my one of my other projects that I did, and you'll see that later on in the video. And I am going to make a bow out of this, a little shoestring bow, and add it to this project. Now here's another type of bow that you can make, and you just wrap it around like 3 of your fingers, then you take another piece and go around. Now, if you want to know how to do it continuously without cutting your twine like I did, go over to Rustic and Lace and watch Brenda. She makes beautiful bows like this, but I ain't figured out how she ties them yet. And so we're going to take and trim this up, and then we're going to glue it to our little pumpkin company. Now you'll see these other ones, I did these too. I did each one of them a little different, but we'll see the rest of these at the final reveal. Okay, this is the Seasonal Holiday Tissue Paper Open Tour, and it is hosted by Lisa at Lovin' the Life and Karen over at the Loft Home Decor. Now, there is going to be one more of these. It's going to be for October 1st, and I guess this is where I made my mistake by reading the October 1st one and not realizing that this one was supposed to be summer. Y'all, please forgive me. And anyway, these ladies' channels are going to be in the description box below, along with the link to the playlist of everyone else that is participating in this. So go over and check them out, because they're doing some awesome crafts and you sure don't want to miss them. Now here we go with DIY number 2. All right, here is our second DIY, it is going to be one of these little boards as well, and that's the board I painted solid white. Now I'm going to go through here. I ironed on the tissue paper just like I did in the first ones, and then I went around and sanded the edges. Now I got these rub-on transfers off of Amazon, and I am going to take and add these to this. Now when you add these rub-on transfers on top of the tissue paper, I did go back and put Mod Podge over the tissue paper, but it's still going to peel up some of it, and that's what I'm showing you there. But because I'm doing rustic farmhouse, guess what? It doesn't matter, because it's still going to look good. But what I do to kind of avoid that, and what you could do if you want your projects to look a little not so rustic, is go around and trim them as close as you can to the transfer, and then that way it does not leave or peel up any of your tissue paper. And you know, maybe if I left my Mod Podge on there and let it cure overnight and come back and do it, then it probably wouldn't have done it. But I wasn't worried about it, so you know, that's something you may want to try. So I'm going to put all these rub-on transfers on here, and then I'm going to add some embellishments to it, and then we'll see this one at the final reveal. Now here's some of the things that Beth and I worked on this week for our booth. Here's Beth. She's checking out all those beads on that lampshade to make sure that they're all there. This is the end of our first store that we stopped at, and she put this on and started laughing. I turned around and saw what she was doing and took a picture of her. You guys, we had so much fun on this trip. It was absolutely hilarious that day. So we found this little radio right here. This is a vintage 1931 Crossley floor model old radio. We picked it up, and it did not have the guts to it, but it had the cabinet, and we picked it up because it was in really good condition. And then we found this one. Now this one was in pretty rough condition. I'm going to show you a picture of what it looks like in the rougher condition, but it's not the exact one. Now this one we could have picked up pretty inexpensive too, but we didn't. Tell me if you would have picked this one up, even if you knew that the radio might not work inside, because the inside, the cord was dry rotted, and a lot of the stuff on the inside of it was crumbling. Now Zenith made this radio. Now here's the back of the inside of a picture we found of one of them, and here is the back cover. And this one was in pretty rough shape, and we didn't know if we could fix it. But you guys, you tell me if you would have picked this up or not. This originally sold for $850 in 1929. That's when this was made, and it was made by Zenith. But y'all let me know what you think and if we should have picked that up. Now here's some quick clips of our booth, and I am telling you, the booth is doing amazingly wonderful. Remember that birdhouse I made in one of my videos that's up in the top of that cabinet? It's gone. It's sold. You guys, it's sold. I was really surprised, and it sold for a good penny. Yeah, it did. And here is just a clip of some of our shelves and stuff. We have been constantly changing this over the past 3 weeks because the stuff is not staying on the shelves. And you guys, if you ever thought about opening a booth, don't think about it, just do it. If you can, figure out a way. All right, here we go. Let's get on with the rest of the video. All right, at this time, we'd like to thank our subscribers. We love you bunches. We really appreciate everything from the bottom of our heart that you do for our channel. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Words aren't enough to thank you for what you've done for us in this channel. And here we go with the final reveal. All right, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these just turn out awesome? Well, if you like this content, subscribe, like, and share because it really helps our video out. And for all our subscribers, thank you so much for everything you do for us by subscribing to the channel. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye. Now here is Beth and I when we were standing in front of the Avalon Mall and we announced that we were getting a booth. Now here is what the booth looked like before. And I'm going to just let this play out. Look at this. This is when the previous owner was there. And this is what he had in his booth. He had a lot of interesting things in there. But we will show you the pictures of what it looks like after we came in. And here it is after a paint job, some new shelves, and all of the different little things that you can add in to make it look very beautiful. And we've still got some work to do. If you notice, the lights aren't up there yet, but look at that sign Beth made for the kids corner, and look at all the stuff. There is tons of thrift flips that we did this week, and you could just imagine, and there's tons of stuff that we've made in our videos here. If you see something in there that, if you watch our videos, you can see some of the things that we made and put in there. And then there's a ton of thrift flips that we put in there, and I call them thrift flips. They may have come from somewhere else. Now, in addition to opening our booth, we finally hit our goal of 1,000 followers. Thank you guys so much. And 4,000 watch hours. We really appreciate everyone who made this happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all, if y'all go check out our community tab on our YouTube channel, you will find the channel lineup for the week there on our community tab. So if you ever want to know what's going on with our channel or new things that are happening or anything like that, go check out that community tab. That's where we're posting all of our information that is important for that moment in time. So go check us out.
So you guys, if you like this content, subscribe. Hit that notification bell and give us that big thumbs up because it really helps our channel out.